In 2004, Mitt Romney is trying to justify why you should vote for George Bush. Now, he says things that I need you to take into context, remembering where we are now in 2012 as he's running against President Obama. This is good. Let's watch.
The people of America recognize that the slowdown in jobs that occurred during the early years of the Bush administration were the result of a perfect storm. And an effort by one candidate to somehow say, oh, this recession and the slowdown in jobs was the result of somehow this president magically being elected. People in America just dismiss that as being poppycock.
All right, so there's so many great parts of that. Well, the president had a recession in the beginning of his administration, so obviously the job losses have nothing to do with him.
Nothing.
And all that is just poppycock. Who says poppycock?
Poppycock, unbelievable.
I mean, that's supposed to be in lieu of a curse word. It's like a kind of a square Mormon thing to say.
You would say, my mother used to say it.
Who was also Mormon.
Right. I mean, now we could talk about it. My mom did leave the church, but she, but yeah, her whole family was Mormon, and she was raised Mormon. But yeah, she would say poppycock instead of horseshit.
Right. And I got news for you. Poppycock doesn't really sound better.
No, not now. Not in this era. Yeah.
So Mitt Romney continues.
And so the people of America have to ask, do you want to stay with the president who is rebuilding the economy, who is creating jobs, or do you want to stop midstream and find someone new?
Well, that is a very good question, because under President Obama, since the recession ended, we have gained over 4 million jobs. Now, do you want to stop in the middle, in midstream, and go with someone new?
Also, let's talk about the recessions that each of those presidents inherited.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're not in the same, they shouldn't even be, there's no comparison whatsoever.
Yeah, so the bubble bursting on the internet caused a small recession. Of course, 9/11 happened in the beginning of the Bush administration. But when you look at the numbers of how big those recessions were, that one and the one created by Bush at the end of his second term, along with other Republican and deregulatory policies, they're not even close. The Bush recession was gigantic that was handed to President Obama. And in fact, every one of those job losses, as you see the chart diving with all the job losses, is created through that recession. And then during the Obama administration, you see the job increases going back up. Now, has he done enough? I don't think he has, President Obama. I think he's gone with Republican proposals too much. But to say, compare those two recessions, is ridiculous. And then what? Is Romney going to turn around from that video and say, well, Bush did such a better job of getting us out of a recession than President Obama did? You can't make that argument.
You know, I guess we didn't talk about this on air, but you know, what the ad that the Obama people should be running right now is the ad featuring Glenn Hubbard, who is Romney's chief economic advisor, who was a significant economic advisor to George W. Bush. Who is featured talking nonsensically in Charles Ferguson's wonderful film Inside Job. And you want an effective attack ad? This guy was a chief economic advisor to George W. Bush and caused this horrible economy. And now he's back, and he's Mitt Romney's top economic advisor. You want to do this again?
You know, that's a great ad, and I love it. As you were saying that, Ben, I thought maybe the reason they're holding back on that is they're waiting to see if he picks Rob Portman. Because if he picks Rob Portman, who was also part of the Bush economic team, then you could do a twofer. You know, if he picks Rob Portman as the VP, so he's bringing the Bush guys back, okay? So the guys who caused this epic collapse in the first place, they want to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I would just show those guys. You really? Again? That's how I'd end the ad.